Peace Corps was founded in 1961 with the overall mission of promoting world peace and friendship through community-based development and intercultural understanding. Peace Corps accomplishes this by helping the countries interested in meeting their need for trained people, helping to promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served, and helping to promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans.
Corps Africa and Peace Corps partnership is one of the, I think, most powerful partnership potentials that I've ever seen. It is this idea of combining the vision of the Peace Corps with the mission of Corps Africa, which was actually started also by a returned Peace Corps volunteer that has a very simple but transformative vision, and that is that young Africans, African leaders, can be their own agents of change in their communities that they serve. And so bringing the two together at the community level, where volunteers from the United States and volunteers that come from all over Africa, but also from, for example, in Malawi, we have 50 newly sworn in Corps Africa volunteers. So this is an incredible partnership because it gives a chance for that kind of shared learning and experience at the community level, but also brings together the resources, the experience and the history, and a shared vision. And I think through this, what I'd like to call kind of the new era of volunteerism, where we give voice to all volunteers, I think we'll see the potential for a long-lasting change and impact.
In a geographical location, so it's have a set of Peace Corps volunteers, either 5 or 10, similarly for Corps Africa, either 5 or 10, and work together as a group and come up with sort of an activity.
Corps Africa started in 2011 by Liz Fanning. She was a Peace Corps volunteer. So she was volunteering in Morocco. So a young lady approached her and asked her, I want to be a Peace Corps volunteer. So she said that, no, this is an American service. So she thought, okay, what can I do to help and give back after she went back to America and saved? So she started an organization called Corps Africa. This is what we are here. So Corps Africa recruits young Africans and places them in rural communities to implement small projects but high impact. And they stay in the community for one year, and they implement different projects from different sectors. So these young Africans are aged between 20 to 35, and they're spread across the country.
In a world where connection is vital, these two organizations, Peace Corps and CorpsAfrica, embody the spirit of service, bridging cultures and fostering sustainable development.
So we want that weight. When you have that weight on a piece of paper, all we want to do is to ask you to shout out the weight and explain how that weight connects you to this workshop.
My word is partner. Partner, because I believe this is a partnership. We'll be working side by side with our fellow volunteers and even with the community. It's about understanding everybody's role, what we're supposed to do. And mostly it's about having a team spirit. Knowing that if you let down your partner, we're all going down together. We're moving together like brothers and sisters, like a new family. And also because partnerships are organized, they follow a principle. But at the same time, we have a shared similar vision, and we never let each other down. So I am a friend, I am a support, and I'll always be there to support whoever needs me in whatever role. You hear me, sorry?
What motivated me to become a Corps Africa volunteer is the chance to empower communities and to give them the strength to deal with their own community issues, their own community problems, and come up with sustainable ways of dealing with those issues and needs and different approaches that they feel comfortable using.
I have been a Peace Corps volunteer for about 11 months now. I was motivated to become a Peace Corps volunteer to contribute to a very people-centered development, specifically to help create sustainable change that people want to see. It's inspiring for me to try to go to a new place and learn a new language, immerse in a new culture. And as much as it is about focusing on outcomes and building relationships, it's also something that challenges me to become a better person and grow as an individual.
Peace Corps volunteers are recruited to support grassroots development activities that promote health, education, environment, agriculture, community economic development, and youth development projects.
On time effective is because you're not limited to only having one gear. You can have 2 holes, even up to 3, and even a dry stand at the end, and all of them will be using these same. So it's also what? Time effective. Instead of cooking first in sima, then mandiro, then the relish, you can all cook these at once using the same firewood that you're using to cook. So it will save energy, and at the same time, we're not limiting the community to using other resources like electricity, gas, or whatsoever, because we already know it is very expensive. But they're using their local.
My word was curiosity. I think there's a lot that I'd like to learn more about, and I'm excited for that. Both in this seminar, but then beyond that, ways that we can work together, ways where we will work separately or play to each other's strengths or help each other in areas where we're falling short on our own. So I'm really curious and eager to learn how this partnership plays out.
CorpsAfrica and Peace Corps should interact as much as possible to get to understand the intentions behind this side-by-side program. And also as volunteers, we should be able to be open enough to each other to get to understand each other's personalities, goals, plans that we have for this program. And this interaction, I don't just expect it to be within this room, but also go outside there as we go to the communities. We should be able to interact, share experiences, challenges that we're facing, both within us volunteers and also with the staff from Peace Corps and also CorpsAfrica. Thank you.
For me, the most exciting part is the diversity that the pilot is bringing in. So we have 2 different organizations. Of course, we're both volunteer organizations, but we have 2 different approaches. So the diversity that it is bringing, the diversity in the experience of the volunteers, and the diversity in their knowledge and skills is, for me, is what is most exciting about the pilot.
For me, having volunteers placed in the same geographical proximity is the most exciting part, where we're seeing volunteers leveraging each other's skills and knowledge, where CorpsAfrica recruits young Africans to be agents of development, but also Peace Corps bringing in volunteers to promote world peace and friendship. So having a set of volunteers in a particular community where they are working together to work on sustainable development is interesting.
CorpsAfrica and Peace Corps, we have to report whatever we do. So like what are the reporting channels? Which indicators are we reporting to? So let's start from here. What do you think is the side-by-side service?
The side-by-side service module is a dynamic approach to volunteerism that emphasizes collaborative efforts and shared responsibilities. The purpose of the Peace Corps Malawi and CorpsAfrica Malawi collaboration is to strengthen community participation, offer an opportunity to foster innovative approaches to address pressing development challenges faced by Malawians, enhance local ownership of projects and promote public service, share promising practices with managing a volunteer cohort, and foster peace and friendship among Americans and Malawians.
Because the reporting for us is key, and we want you guys to really give us information, even the pictures, and to understand how the side-by-side is going and how we can improve it. Like we said, one of the challenges, it's limiting because we're just...
At the end of the pilot, I want the program to grow for the most part, and I want us to also come up with ideas and innovative solutions on how we can further develop our communities, more especially in Malawi. I feel like the pilot also gives us an opportunity to learn from each other and also develop skills among each other, as well as develop skills in the community. This will enhance our work, our development work in the country.
My vision for this pilot is I would love to see Malawi set the tone, set the stage for what true collaboration means between CorpsAfrica volunteers and Peace Corps volunteers, and also the potential that we can unlock together. So for me, Malawi is an incredible space to explore this. The dedication of the CorpsAfrica leadership, the dedication of the Peace Corps Malawi leadership, and the enthusiasm of our volunteers, both CorpsAfrica volunteers as well as Peace Corps volunteers, creates kind of the perfect scenario to explore something as exciting as this pilot.
What I envision is that this partnership will help us bring sustainable impact in the community that we'll be serving. And also, it also show our communities that different people from different organizations, if they can collaborate to bring change in the community, then what more themselves in the community, collaborating and helping us to bring that sustainable change in their own community.
I think I will receive a very specific and unique perspective working with the Corps Africa volunteer. Of course, as someone who's been at my site for about 11 months now, I've been gathering that throughout my service as I collaborate and work with people. But specifically now, being partnered with a Corps Africa volunteer, I get to see an entirely different side of it. And really that is getting into the nitty-gritty of people's lives and really understanding truly things about them you wouldn't otherwise if you're not focusing on building relationships.
The volunteer will introduce climate-smart agriculture interventions and implement activities related to disaster risk reduction and mitigation. The volunteers will work side by side in a collaborative fashion, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose.
So by design, any volunteer who's within that particular geographical proximity, and those are Peace Corps and CorpsAfrica volunteers, will be part of this pilot. And we are going to offer training to them, so they will undergo an orientation. And we're also going to do, in future, we're also going to do another training, technical training in this aspect. Whilst a group approach, in other countries they're using regions. For example, in Ghana, they have, say, all volunteers that are in the Volta region are going to be part of this, of the side-by-side. We didn't choose that because as Peace Corps Malawi, we do not have enough volunteers, a lot of volunteers on the ground. And as Dinga said, the volunteer-driven is volunteer-driven. It can be a volunteer in Chitipa collaborating with a volunteer in Longwe. They can just be friends. They'll be sharing information. They'll be doing professional development. And that's not controlled by us. That's controlled by the volunteer. I'll give an example. Anissa and Bakita did collaborate.
The next step is that we're going to do community sensitization with the gatekeepers. These are the influential leaders in the specific sites, to brief them on what is the pilot, the objectives of the pilot, but also how we're going to measure our success. And then of that, the volunteers are going to pick it from there.
I think what makes me the most excited is that here in Malawi, this is our first time. It's a pilot. It's exciting. It is a way for us to learn as an organization. It is a way for us to see how we can build on this idea of a shared experience. So for me, what's most exciting is not only that we're doing it and we're joining forces, but that we're intentionally trying to learn from it so that we can continue to improve it and then expand it and build it.
I want to see that the change that we create is something that is building self-efficacy for Malawians in their local communities. Seeing that there's a partnership, seeing people come from different areas who are living, working, speaking the language, and also trying to empower people, as we talk about change agents, to create the change they want to see. So what I would like to see is that people feel inspired to then take their own step into their lives to move forward in what they want to do to achieve their goals. And as volunteers, I think it's very important for us to reflect at the end of it how much we've grown as individuals and the network that we impact as volunteers. So hopefully that partnership, even though it's a program with a set time, is going to extend for the rest of our lives.
I want the spirit of volunteerism to go on. I feel like all my life I've been a volunteer. I've never had an actual job. I love volunteerism because it gives back to the community.
So my hope for the pilot is to see it grow and to also maximize the impact of both organizations because we're both working towards the betterment of the communities. So I'm hoping that through this collaboration, we'll be able to maximize our impact in the communities.
The side-by-side module emphasizes teamwork and mutual support, enhancing the overall impact of volunteer efforts.